In the bottom right, starting location, we have the legend from StarCraft 1. He is
KT roster Flash.
And in the upper right, he needs to turn this series around. He is
LGIM KangHo.
You know what would be awesome is if, like, 30 years from now, Flash, like, ran for president of Korea and won. Wouldn't that be cool?
You know what would be awesome is if 30 years from now, aliens attacked us and Flash had to take control of a human army to battle them off, and he won.
That would be awesome. That would be so awesome.
They're like, Mr. President, we now have Zerg forces, or like Zerg-like forces.
Yeah.
We've caught them up, and he's like, oh my god.
They have,
and then they're like, let's just say it's Obama or something. He's like looking out the window, and the guy that's like in charge of like, oh, nice, from Honduras. Excellent. Welcome to the studio.
We've had Honduras people before.
All right, beer. No problem with beer here. Now we have wait, we have Obama looking out the window, and he goes, "You know what we have to do." Because he has a special Flash phone on his desk.
Yeah.
That he calls, but Flash. It's one of those scenes in the movie where we actually see Flash, and he's older, and he's like got a beard and stuff, and he's like, "You know, I gave up StarCraft a long time ago." And he's like, "But you're the only one that can stop the aliens."
Wow. And then watch, if he failed, and the aliens start to wipe everybody out, then suddenly the last resistance fighters on Earth are controlled by Marine King Prime. He just never leaves the game, so humans live on, but just barely.
Dude, it's going to happen.
Be a great movie.
It's going to be a great movie. It's going to beat Independence Day. Now we have the third hatch here.
Yeah, two hatch very quickly here before the spawning pool, Tasteless. And, of course, against the command center first, going to work fine. It's pretty easy to guess that on this map, Flash will go command center first. So KangHo able to do like the greediest build Zerg has, basically.
Yeah.
There isn't yet a 4 hatchery before pool build.
We're still waiting.
Yeah. I actually think I saw it. Someone did it to me on ladder once. I was very sad. I think I barely ended up winning, but like I shouldn't have.
That's one of those games you're playing, you just got it, you're like, what?
Yeah. Okay. So this is I like it. KangHo's playing a strong style for this map and the situation. Flash, I really expect him to go into bio play. Nice quick factory, of course. He's going to need to get into his Hellions to start controlling the map. I wonder if he's going to go for Hellion Banshee again. Because you can, again, do that with multiple different strategies as the backup. Not too sure. He'll take a little bit to see.
Well, this map is incredibly big. And again, just like our last... Well, I actually thought our last game that we had was going to be longer. But
if that push hadn't worked, I tell you, it would have been.
Yeah.
Mech against a Zerg with like 5 bases is going to
usually
take a
be
while
pretty
to
dramatic.
decide that one.
But I think this game should actually be longer than the last one.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, wait a minute, what?
I think he's... Well, this isn't mech. It could turn into mech if it doesn't work out, but it looks like it's going to probably be 2 factory Blue Flame Hellion.
Yeah.
And that's really strong, especially if KangHo doesn't know.
That strat isn't as popular here in the Korean scene as much.
It was way back when MVP played against Life in that GSL Finals, but recently it's not as popular. And I question it. It's kind of interesting that he's chosen to do this against KangHo on this map. Well, not about the map itself, but against KangHo, I guess is what I meant. Because KangHo is someone that almost never doesn't get at least 6 queens, which is going to help out a bit against a strat like this. So I wonder, this might just be a way that he wants to go into a mech timing push from here. Like, force a lot of defense and then switch into mech or something. I don't know, Tasteless. It's going to be cool to see, though, what his plan is, because already 6 queens are going to be out for KangHo.
It's interesting because we don't see Flash is not something you think about when you think of the strategy.
No, certainly not.
You know, he's prepared for this pretty well.
It's a really good one, though. You know, this is something that can catch a Zerg off guard, and even if it doesn't, it can be very hard to know exactly what to do against it. Like, do you go for some roaches against it? Do you just try to make building walls and utilize queens and speedlings? If you make the wrong choice, you're in a lot of trouble. And he's actually getting a nice quick third command behind this as well.
All right, more Hellions rally down here. And that this would not give away the fact that he's doing this Blue Flame Hellion strat here. He wants to just first do a little bit of damage and then run away. But then when the Blue Flame Hellion upgrade is done, he's going to group up with all the Hellions and go in here for a really powerful attack. Stuff like this evolution chamber wall that we see up here is really important. Oh my god! That was so close.
Does not see that additional factory, so he's not quite sure what's going on. And it is actually going to be a mech follow-up from here from Flash. Pretty awesome to see. If he mechs against Parting, I will just lose it, Tasteless. I'll be so happy.
All right, so the Hellions are out here now to know he's not letting them attack just yet because he wants to wait for the rest of these Hellions to get up here first.
Ooh, really nice moves there by KangHo, actually surrounding a chunk of those Hellions. And with all these Queens and some more Speedlings coming down, it looks like he's dealt with this pretty easily overall. Didn't really lose that much yet.
No, the whole goal of the Hellions is actually to get to the drones, not to try to engage the Queens. So let's see if we get some shots off here now, though.
Doesn't want to overcommit there, wants to keep these alive. Ooh, and the Ling's getting another nice surround there. Nice pullback from KangHo as well. His Queen's walking up there. I was going to say waddling up. Do Queens waddle? Do you think that's a waddle? Kind of.
No, I wouldn't use waddle for the Queens.
Not quite. Jaunt.
Wow. Okay, he completely destroyed this. And again, Artos and I were both saying he probably would not mech on this map. And there's a reason why we said that is that mech against Zerg on a map this big doesn't seem to be advisable.
Well, if it goes super late game, I'm talking 40 minutes or something, to get across the entire map with mech, you're so immobile that it can be an issue. But since I'm not too surprised he's meching with this strategy as the opener. Because on the other map, it's like, well, even if it goes long, the map is kind of small. On this map, though, he's using an aggressive build, and he's like forcing a lot of units out of KangHo. He's making it hard for KangHo to take additional bases. KangHo's tech is a lot slower this game, and he's following up with mech. So it's a very different style that he's using than in Game 1, despite the fact that both had a lot of Hellions involved. Very different still.
Indeed. Now, KangHo deflecting that massive amount of Hellions, he's going to be feeling pretty confident. Flash was staying on Hellions for a while, too, which means the central mech army that's going to be helpful in the end game is going to get there much later. He has to start building that from basically this 11-minute marker and up.
Well, he is making siege tanks at this point. Hellbats as well, getting those upgrades. We actually have ranged attack being gotten by KangHo. So he's going to go for that, probably the Hydra Roach type approach again. He has a good creep spread, but he's actually expanding towards Flash. Okay, he's actually taking another base towards the top left as well, so that's a little bit better then. At least he's taking a couple bases at the same time.
All right, some Lings here to harass the SCVs over here. And again, it's completely worth it to send those Lings in there. They're very expendable. We have Zerg getting attack and armor, everything, burrow. He wants to, both these guys, it's basically like a tacit agreement that they are not going to interact with each other too much for a while until they're both maxed out.
That's just about right, Tasteless. Like, with mech especially, you do not want to walk out without, a near maxed army at least. Like, 160 is the earliest you ever even think about really moving. Whereas with Zerg, you're not going to attack into mech, as simple as that. Like, if you attack into a defensive mech, you're just
crazy.
Dead. Like, it's the greatest defender's advantage in the entire game. It's even a better defender's advantage than High Templars all over the place.
It is.
So,
the only thing about High Templars over the place is you can cover more area.
That is true.
Whereas mech, you don't get.
That's for sure.
Fifth base for mech, pretty hard to hold.
Oh yeah, I know where he's going to take his fourth, but the fifth base is going to be a pain.
And that might be what KangHo goes for, is to let him to get the fourth up and mine out that fourth that he has. By the way, and the fifth is in the upper left, and then eventually Terran will just run out of minerals and lose the game, because for Terran to secure anything on the bottom left, like bottom left square, if you were to split the map up into fourths, which you can do very easily because of the way this map looks, Terran's going to have a very hard time securing anything down there.
Very tough. Ooh, this is
he's going to go for
cool.
Contaminate on the factories?
I think so.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Just, maybe he'll drop mass changelings. It's a possibility. We've seen that strat before, believe it or not. Well, it looks like it is time to move out. Flash is at 180. That's a much better move out time than anything below it. That was actually a dumb sounding sentence, but 180 really is a good number to start moving out because you max out behind it real fast.
He's unsieged. It looks like he might actually turn around here, and this is really nice.
That is
really,
cool.
really
Now,
nice.
Does Flash continue to go? Because his reinforcements are going to be a little bit slow.
Lucero, a really creative player here.
Now, this is Roach Hydra, so tanks in siege mode going to do all right against this. 2-2 just finishing up, and here he comes from a couple different sides here. Those Overseers flying in and taking a lot of the Thor shots. Uh-oh, a Viper as well. But does he have any energy on that Viper? Looks like not enough.
No, not enough, and it's just Hydras and Roaches now. But Zerg does have this pretty big supply lead, and there's not a ton to cover for these tanks, you know?
Yeah, it looks like Lucera going to just, well, I guess just barely technically not clean it up, but that's a cleanup right there.
That's enough so that the Terran stops moving forward.
It is. Now,
Looks
okay.
like Flash is still going to move out.
Well,
Oh,
I think he's
just gonna
actually going to
repair.
secure his fourth base, because if he just keeps on rallying through, like, he doesn't have enough supply. We're at 140. 180 is where Mech is basically enough to beat any max if it gets the right engagement. So maybe clear some creep, secure this base up, that type of thing. And here's the thing, we have actually 3 Vipers out right now. So he's going to have to really work on spreading his tanks. He can't have them close together. We saw what happens when GOOMTV was playing with that. So, this is
nice.
Really nice move here by KangHo, getting forward, mixing it up. Oh god, great blinding cloud going down, and he's going to kill off a huge amount of supply here.
Yeah, this might be the point where Flash can't really recover from this. You know? It's going to be hard to get the 4th. Zerg can keep on moving out. That blinding cloud's so strong, he's going to lose even more tanks.
Yeah, those 4 tanks have been under blinding cloud for a very long time. That's such a good move by KangHo, and finally they do come out, and there are more siege tanks, so he's not going to die. He's not going to straight up die here.
Yeah,
but
the question, though, is recovery.
Yeah, does he recover from here? I mean, it's a tall order, but if KangHo just stays on, like, Roach Hydra and doesn't start looking towards other tech routes, then Flash still can come back, because the longer the game goes on, the worse Roaches become.
Yes, this is true. And whoa, what was that? Well, he's going to clean up more of these siege tanks now. You can see he's going to try to mass around these tanks with SCVs, but
you know, every time a siege tank dies, a lone tier falls down Flash's face, because they're, you know, he's replaced them 4 at a time, but he really wants to be maxed out right now. Every time it's such a big kill getting in there with some Roaches. It's so worth it for KangHo to bleed off Roaches and a couple Hydras to kill a siege tank. You know, he's got so many bases. Every time you kill a siege tank, it slows down the push greatly.
now, yeah, I mean, well, the tanks they take so long to make. And it's not like Marines where you have less factories making tanks even when you're meching than you would if you're going all infantry here with the barracks. So, yeah, when you lose the tanks like that, it's another setback. Now, KangHo's maxed out and is going to continue to expand up to the upper left side of the map.
Uh-oh, here we go. Tesa's blinding clouds starting to go down. Beautiful blinding clouds so far. He's made 4 tanks, I believe. Yeah, 4 tanks right now are not firing, and 4 tanks make all the difference in this situation.
And again, he's going to push up onto this high ground. Looks like the planetary could be killed before it actually is finished.
It looks like that is going to be taken out. I think he's going to have to... Oh, no, he's not actually
Well,
turning
he's going
it down.
for the siege tanks now.
Oh, he's got to be careful about that. These are Hydras, so they're a little bit soft.
Yeah.
And he will end up getting it. So he's going to have to float down to command from his main or something like that, which really would suck if he has to do that, because he's still mining some gas there. And Mech is not as reliant in this matchup on gas. It still needs a lot of minerals in this matchup, but, I mean, you want every drop of gas you can get. And finally, a Spire starts for KangHo. Very helpful indeed.
Well,
look at this Overlord. That's such a pain.
Well, that's it's funny because he just doesn't have a Thor there. It's like, well, I guess he gets to stay.
He's making a Thor, and then Thor has to walk down there, kill the Overlord.
The creep has to then dissipate before he can land.
It's going to be like 25 minutes before that command center lands.
But he might even come in here again. He can just target down the command center if he wants. Oh, sickness!
Really nice abducts. Really utilizing the Viper against this mech strategy. Super well done here by KangHo. Of course, the Siege Tanks are being pretty cost efficient still despite all this. They just aren't in big enough numbers because he's been losing all game.
GG. 1-1 now. Very close game so far.
Yeah, kind of a cool game there.
Yeah, okay, so let's go back to the initial strategy. It was a Blue Flame surprise Hellion strat. Now, that didn't work, so Flash mech'd off the back of that. Now, as you can see, mech not very strong on that map. It's hard to push all the way across. Zerg is able to expand, especially in those starting positions, away from the Terran. Whereas Terran, once he gets his 4th up, which he never really got it up, but let's just pretend he did, then he has to get a 5th base up eventually. That's going to be nearly impossible.
It made a lot of sense to me why Flash chose to use 2 factory Blue Flame Hellions to go into mech on this map. But the player he's playing against, KangHo, always has a lot of queens. If he was playing against a normal Zerg that might have 4 queens right there, that's a big difference from 6 queens, and I feel like he could have done a lot more with it. But that part, I think, was a bit of a mistake. And then, you know, he kind of got his factories gooped. He went on to creep, and KangHo had a little bit better surface area. Didn't quite spread his tanks well enough.
Yeah.
It looked kind of one-sided in KangHo's favor this game. But just a couple small things that if Flash changes, KangHo's going to have a much harder time.
Well, I don't think, and I know we said this last time, and Flash decided to do otherwise, but I do not think we're going to see mech.
I think we are.
You think so?
Yeah, I think if he went mech on that map, he's going mech on every map.
Dollar bet.
All right, done.
All right. Gambling's illegal in Korea. Taking down. Got the evidence right here. I'm an undercover agent.
Oh, no.
Well,
it's taken you years to get me, Tastus, but you finally did it.
There's one moment. It's all come down to here. That's the M. Night Shyamalan twist to your life, Artosis. All right. After this match, we'll go on to the winners and see who will face off. Be that much closer to getting out of this group here. Group D, the final group, the round of 16 of the GSL.